In this video, I'm going to show you how you can reduce the cost of your Spotify Facebook ad campaigns, because I get a lot of questions from people saying, hey, I'm trying to do what you show in all your videos, and I'm doing it right, but the cost is a lot. And I get this question a lot, and I struggle with this myself with every song. Every song offers a unique challenge to optimize your results. It's just part of marketing, right? Everything's a little bit different. There's really no cookie cutter formula. So you have to be able to do some stuff that I'm going to show you in this video if you want to get good results. So let's just jump right into Facebook ads. So if you have no idea what's going on, you have no idea what I do, at the end of this video, I'm going to link to a video, I'm going to link to a video that shows you exactly how I set it up. But for now, keep this in mind because it'll still be helpful to see this before you dive into that video. So what happened is when I started this campaign, I didn't have all these ad sets. I started off with Chainsmokers, Future Bass, The Weeknd, retargeting. I started with those 4 ad sets. And initially I'm like, okay, the retargeting one's doing good, but there's just not enough people. Like I'm retargeting people who clicked on songs in the past. So that's kind of always a guaranteed win, but there's just not enough volume there. And then Chainsmokers 31 cents per conversion, The Weeknd 68 cents per conversion. Future Bass artist, initially this was higher and I tweaked it to lower, but this initially was like 40 cents per conversion, which is a lot. I usually want 10 to 20 cents per conversion. So my thought process here is I need to test different audiences to try to find the golden goose, so to speak, of people who are most likely to click cheaply, like the right people. So my thought process for that is just to add those new audiences in, and then as I get new good ones, I start turning off bad ones. And so what happens is I tried some things out. I tried doing this alternative targeting ad set, and this one is targeting fans of like music festivals and certain magazines, blogs, whatever, just kind of like not music artists, not genres, like alternative targets, if you know what I mean. And then I added on India dance music. I thought maybe targeting just India, while not like good practice, I usually target all Spotify countries with the exception of India. It'll bring the average cost down, so I thought I'd try that. I also added on this dance music one. And this dance music one ended up being a pretty solid winner, right? 11 cents per conversion. Great. Now you might be wondering, well, why are all these off if that one was so great? Well, because I figured maybe I can get this even better. When you're spending a substantial amount of money in an ad, it makes sense to do testing to optimize, right? Because if you spend, a couple $100, if you can figure out like a really good target from the start, you're gonna save money, even though it costs money to add more ad sets because you have to test them. It's in the long term, it makes more sense. So I make a lookalike audience based off of my retargeting audiences. And this was for, actually, sorry, I got that wrong. I make a lookalike audience based off of people who clicked on previous songs, which I'll show you how to do that in a sec. But that one ended up being a great winner. Now, at the same time, I also added on dance music to test out some of the new countries that Spotify added. So this is just targeting like Ukraine, Russia, and all those new kind of Eastern European countries that Spotify added to their repertoire of countries. And so right now, like I went through and I turned off essentially all of these. And I was left with these 3. And I thought, well, maybe I'll test another thing. And I added lookalike audiences based on people who clicked on this song. So meaning that I make a custom audience of people who clicked for this song, and make a lookalike audience based off of that. That ended up being a loser. It was performing good, right? 14 cents per conversion, but this was just in Brazil. The United States one, for some reason, just never worked. Like, it did get me very cheap conversion, but it would just never get more people. So I don't really know what happened with that. So I turned those off, and I was left with these 3 ad sets. And as you can see, like 9 cents per conversion, 8 cents per conversion, 13 cents per conversion. And that's pretty fantastic. Like sub 10 cents per conversion is a fantastic price for this kind of thing. So you might be thinking, I've already tried that. So what should I do? You've tried this stuff. So the next kind of stage of things that you should try from that point, and you could try this from the beginning. In fact, I recommend it. But if we look back to the ads, from the start, I was running with 3 different alternative ads. And basically each of these ads, if I go to view, I think, let me just mute this. This is the ad. It's just a picture of the artwork with the Spotify and Apple Music logo. I was marketing this both to fans of Spotify and Apple Music, just to try something different. And then basically all those three versions are the same ad, just different parts of the song, because I wanted to see what parts of the song made people most likely to click. And basically, you know, you start to look at different ad sets and you start figuring out like what's the winner here. Ad 1 won this one, ad 1 get that one, ad 2 get that one, ad 1, ad 1, and then if I go to like the biggest winner here, ad 1. So like obviously there is a clear difference in the actual ad creative when you look at it, because it's the same visual, it's just three different parts of the song. So by testing out different parts of the song, even with the same audience, you can drastically decrease your cost. Like, look at this. 7 cents compared to 8 cents or 11 cents. Like, that adds up when you spend hundreds of dollars. Like, that's a 50% difference between these two ads. So, in addition to testing out all these little audiences, or not big audiences actually, I'm also testing out all these different parts of the song or different ads. And you don't just have to use the same ad with different parts of the song. You could use different parts of a music video. You could test a music video compared to like this style of ad, just like moving artwork. You can test all different things. And I recommend when you're going to start your campaign, you start it with, for example, let's say three to five ad sets. Let's just say 4 ad sets. And inside of each ad set, you know, have like 2 or 3 ads. And that gives Facebook enough variables to like go out and test, okay, well, in this campaign, this ad set's performing best and this ad's performing best. But in this ad set, like this other ad's performing best. So we're going to show this ad to these people and that ad to those people. And it gives Facebook all these options to go in and really just do the work for you. Like you don't have to like turn things off and do stuff as much. Like I turned things off as I went, but technically I could just leave this on and Facebook's just going to kind of curtail the budget to things that are performing badly. That was a loud motorcycle. So as you've seen here, obviously the lookalike audience was the winner. And what it comes down to is lookalike audiences are incredibly powerful. So let me talk about that. And I made a video about this in the past, but I think providing it relative to this song is going to give you a little bit more clarity, especially after what I just showed you with like how to test, right? You don't jump away, like you don't just assume lookalike audience are always going to work. You always want to test. So doing this ad stuff, like different ad sets, different ads is going to be great. But now let's get into how to set up the lookalike audience. So what you do is you need to go to your audiences. And this completely relies on the fact that you have people to retarget, right? If you don't have anyone to retarget and make it lookalike audiences, you can't make a lookalike audience. But assuming you do, this is how you do it. You're going to go to create audience, custom audience. Basically what you're going to tell people here is that, or you're telling Facebook here, is that I want you to go and all the people that triggered that Hyped It Smart link click, or if you're using ToneDen, people that triggered the view content conversion. In the past, I often will do 180 days just to get the most people. And then you name the audience. So this would be like an audience that encompasses everyone that's ever clicked on one of my Hyped It Smart links. And since I don't just run ads for like my own music, I didn't want to do that. So what I did is I refined it by URL, and I went to Hyped It and I just copied and pasted all the links of all my previous songs I've run ads for. And then the process, the result of that is that I have, I don't even know what it is here. Hyped It Dreaming Relevant 180 Days. I believe I used that one. And because that was like, I created this audience for my song Dreaming, but I reused it for this. So at that point, I have a big bucket of people, roughly 6,000 people. This is not always accurate. And so what I did is I click it, create lookalike. Then all you do is you type in what countries you want. So for example, United States. And depending on what version of Facebook ads you have, you might not be able to enter multiple countries. You might have to create one of these for every country. That's what I have to do in my version. But on one of my other ad accounts, I don't. I don't actually enter any countries. It gets filtered later on. So, but for mine, I do this 1%. This is the whole concept of a lookalike audience is Facebook's just creating this giant list of every person on Facebook and Instagram, and they're ordering them by how close they are to that custom audience, to that Hyped It Dreaming Relevant 180 Days audience. So the more data you feed into that, the more accurate of a model they can get. So you can't do this with like 100 people. You really want like 1,000, 2,000, 10, you know, I'd like to say more than 1,000 people will get you a decent lookalike audience. And then I just create the audience, and then the result of that is I have a lookalike audience, one of these, I forget which one it is. I think it's this one. Dreaming Click Conversion, Spotify, and Apple Music. And then basically you go over to your ad manager and you can just drop in that lookalike audience. And guess what? Since I had to make a custom audience to create the lookalike audience, that's what my retargeting ad set was from the start. So I already had it in for retargeting, and then later I'm like, well, maybe I'll make a lookalike audience off of this. And then it ended up being, by far, the biggest winner. I mean, the dance music new countries were also a winner, but these are for like brand new countries in Spotify, right? And I know a lot of you are probably wondering, like, okay, well, how'd the song perform? And I'll show you. So let's go into my Spotify for Artists for the song. Came out on Friday, July 10th, and basically running the ad campaign for the first week. After the first Friday, it gets a big release radar push. So, you know, when you release a song, all your followers will get your song in the release radar. But if your song does well, it'll get pushed out to people who don't follow you in release radar. So that's when I say release radar push, I'm talking about a push to people who have never heard of you before. And that's what this little spike is. And we're still running ads and stuff, and then we get to the next Friday, it gets an even bigger release radar push. And then we're going, and then doesn't do too much for a while, but then we hit this Monday, and that's when Discover Weekly is updated. So we get a tiny bit Discover Weekly push. We don't really get another release radar push because I think we hit the 1 month mark. You can only be in release radar for 28 days, so we couldn't be on release radar anymore. We get a small dip, and then, surprise, we get another peak on Monday where we get a little bit more Discover Weekly. So this isn't an example of like the most ideal campaign ever. This campaign, I would have hoped it would have done better. Like, for example, my song Socialized is at 100,000 streams. Obviously, it's been out longer, but in general, it's performing better. Even all that time after, it's still doing better. And my song Dreaming is still doing better. So a lot of times I am showing you like my best case scenarios, right? Because I want to show you what's possible. Even with these pretty solid results, like 20,000 streams, we did spend a lot of money on ads, but it's still like, this is kind of like a worst case scenario, honestly. Like, it didn't go as well as we planned, and it's still going pretty great. Like, we're pretty much spending nothing anymore, and it's still just getting 300 streams a day because, you know, it's in Discover Weekly. It's in 443 playlists, 490 playlists, actually. I guess the first number is probably more accurate. And all these people, like, look at this. It's getting all these recurring streams just from people who saved it to their library and playlists. And it's getting all this traffic from algorithmic playlists when we're not even promoting it anymore, really. Like, I'm putting like $3 a day into the campaign at this point because it's like it's done. You know, like I'm working on preparing my next single. So anyways, I hope you found that super helpful for optimizing your own campaigns. As promised, if you want to check out this video right here, I'll show you exactly how to set up this campaign in the first place, and then you can use this video as a guide to actually optimize it as your campaign runs. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.